Welcome to Not Your Average Cinema. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we are making some Royal Rumble predictions. So a little bit different than the videos we've done so far, but it's kind of a channel for all forms of entertainment. One of the forms of entertainment that we enjoy is mainly, I was going to say wrestling, but it's mainly the WWE
Yes.
version of wrestling. Don't really watch too much of like AEW and stuff, but uh, the Royal Rumble is always a fun time for predicting. I feel like it's one of my probably favorite pay-per-views of the year outside of maybe WrestleMania. Those are probably the top two for me.
Yeah, I would say those are the top two. Everyone gets excited about SummerSlam, but I'm like, SummerSlam is it just can't compete with WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. And Royal Rumble is probably the more exciting one. It doesn't feel as big as WrestleMania, but it just promises. It's always filled with promises of big shockers, and you get 30 countdowns in that Royal Rumble match, and every time you're hoping, oh, is this going to be a big return or something like that, something crazy. It just cannot be replicated anywhere else.
No, it really can't. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what your predictions are. Because yeah, this is already happening in a couple days. Couple days on February 1st. So they did the cool 3, 2, 1 for February 1st. I really liked that. I thought that was kind of a unique way to do at least the 2, 1. The 3, I guess, comes from the 2025, which is 5 minus 2, but uh, I don't think they actually had that part.
Or
Uh,
could it be sneaking on us? So it's 3, 2, 1. 25th entrant wins the Royal Rumble. Oh my goodness.
it definitely could be.
Or maybe it's
Uh,
just absolutely nothing intent. But yeah, there are not many matches announced currently, and which it usually doesn't have that many because those two Rumble matches, ever since they put it up to two, they'll be about an hour apiece. So you really don't have much room. Plus, you're using most of the roster in those matches. So we got four matches here. I guess we'll start with what should we start with? Should we start with
so
A1?
start bottom going up.
Bottom up. Bottom up. Okay, we will start with the Tag Team Championship match on SmackDown, which will be a 2 out of 3 falls match. So it's really kind of three matches in one. And that is between DIY, which are the bad guys in this situation. I don't know how much you've been keeping up on the tag team division on SmackDown versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
Uh,
Uh,
I
what
have not. I would not have guessed that. And yeah, I'm probably not haven't been watching as much, but now definitely in the WrestleMania season, I'll probably be watching some more between the Rumble and WrestleMania. But I did not do that. And I actually, in my head, were the Motor City Machine Guns champions?
they were champions.
Okay,
They
I thought
beat
they still were champions when I heard this match. I'm like, okay, so the Motor City Machine Guns are champions, and I look, I'm like, no, they're not. It's DIY is the champs.
Yes, they held it for a little while. They beat the Bloodline, and just recently, mid-match, I believe, the DIY turned heel and won the championships back, or maybe not back. I think they had them at some point. Won those championships. So now Motor City Machine Guns want their titles back. But I guess my prediction, I think that DIY is going to walk away remaining tag team champions. I think with the new heel attitude that they have, I think it would hurt them quite a bit if you did take those belts off of them. And 2 out of 3 falls match, I feel like can have some shenanigans and some sneakery, and I think that is going to allow them to come out with their championships.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think I'd go with DIY here, just because, yeah, seems like they don't. I don't know. Doesn't seem like they change the belts all that much, uh, just in general anymore in WWE. And yeah, since they just became heels, yeah, not the greatest time to take them off.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know who they can go against after the Motor City Machine Gun. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they kind of have like this brand portal, so people are moving from one brand
that's
to
true.
another. So it's quite unpredictable at the moment. Okay, so we are crossing over there. My goodness, only 4 matches. We might not have any differences here. But moving on to the undisputed WWE Championship ladder match. Ladder match. what is with Kevin Owens and getting into world championship matches with special stipulations at Royal Rumble? I don't understand it.
No, he always seems to find himself in these situations, and he always makes them exciting. I think he always has good matches, and technically, you could argue he won one of those matches back in the day, but for some reason, they allowed Roman Reigns to retain. Who knows why that would be? But yeah, I'd really like Kevin Owens to win this. I think he's just so entertaining all the time, and maybe that would go away if he was champion, but I feel like it wouldn't. Whereas to me, Cody, ever since winning the championship, kind of similar for me also with Gunther. They just have not felt quite the same. Gunther, at least, I mean, I don't know, has always been kind of dominant, and he's kind of continued that, so it kind of works. But I don't know, Cody is much better as a chaser, I think, than a champion themselves. Uh, he's a good champion, but I'm kind of done with it. I would not mind if Kevin won, but I don't think he's going to, unfortunately.
But you're going Cody Rhodes. And I guess an additional question, they have the Winged Eagle and the normal championship up there. If Cody does win, does he just go with the normal modern championship or does he make some sort of new design?
I feel like he should go with the Winged Eagle because he does not know how to hold the current championship. He just does not understand how to hold it. It doesn't
He
work for
just
him at all.
folds it up and holds it like this. What are you doing?
So maybe
Where?
even if he doesn't, I guess even if he didn't do the Winged Eagle, it would be nice if he did something that was maybe a little smaller. I just feel like maybe it's the size that doesn't work.
Yeah,
So yeah, if he did something a little smaller.
yeah. I would really like KO to win, and I don't know what Cody's WrestleMania picture is, and I actually
I
love
don't know that either.
rivalry, so I hope we can bring this out to WrestleMania, and you could have Kevin walk away with it with maybe some help from someone for a big surprise, but I had to go with the safe pick. I had to go with Cody Rhodes to retain here. In my past predictions over the years, I've been stupid. We've both been stupid many times, predicting long-reigning champions to be dethroned, and they never are. So I ain't gonna make that mistake here. Cody retains.
Yes. I think that one would probably be my biggest lock. Well, just because the Royal Rumbles are much harder to
Oh,
predict than
really?
anything
Really?
else.
Uh, Speaking of Royal Rumble, we have the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. So winner gets a championship match at WrestleMania. We can scroll down here and see a few of the announced names here. Nia Jax, Bailey, Charlotte, are you returning Charlotte, Flair, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra Valkyria, who I think has the Intercontinental Women's Championship, Ivy Nile, and Io Sky. Oh boy, this
I
one's
think out of the ones that are announced there, I would say three, maybe four have a chance in my mind of winning. Uh, I see one isn't there that I could consider. I think could potentially return maybe if she's ready,
Mhm.
and win as well. Um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that they'd have Charlotte Flair announced before because I feel
Yeah,
like they could have just had her, I don't know, show up and win. She does feel like the one that's going to win it. I don't know, just something about it feels like, they're probably just going to put her right there, and her wrestling backs it up. But unfortunately, I've just kind of gotten over her. No matter what they seem to try, bringing her back over and over, it just has not worked for me. Sometimes they try heel again, babyface heel, and it's like the Big Show, and it just
yeah,
doesn't work. Nothing really connects. So I don't know what they could do to get her to connect, and I feel like
yeah,
it's just going to be a disappointment. So
yeah. That's true. That's true. Um, I don't know. Yeah, they kind of have this fancy type of video packages for her, so I think she's gonna be a heel here. She's definitely a contender. I think I'm gonna go with a lot of people's favorite, and they think that they have had a great 2024 and would be kind of, it feels right based on last year. Bailey won this and went on to dethrone Io Sky at WrestleMania. and Io Sky has just had amazing matches this whole year. It's kind of gone under the radar in the past few weeks as all these other people make these big announcements about Royal Rumble. But I think Io Sky should win this one. I think she's my favorite in-ring female competitor on the roster, and to have possibly a match with her and champion Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. That is a dream match, a night one, night two, whatever main event. Actually, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are here. They ain't gonna night two main event, but night one main event potential there with that match. So I go Io Sky.
Yeah, I that was so I was thinking of the ones listed here: Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, or Io Sky were the four that I kind of thought of these ones announced that I think could have a chance. And I think the one that I think could show up and maybe win would be Becky Lynch. That's the only other one I can think of that would maybe have a chance. But again, with her too, it feels like the man thing has gone on a little bit too long for me. It definitely was great when it happened, and how it just kind of all worked out and ended up in the what was it, the women's triple threat main event
Yep.
at WrestleMania. And I think that was awesome and great. But now, what is it, 4 or 5 years removed from that? I think it's gotten a little bit like, okay, I'd like to maybe see something a little bit different from her.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I think I probably will just go with Charlotte Flair, but I don't know. That to me doesn't, it's not the funnest pick.
Yeah, that's true. But I think she'd be first two-time Rumble female winner, and
Or maybe we can
you
get Asuka
That's
2 time.
true. Asuka is it's so weird. Like she has not really done that well, like accolade wise recently, the past few years it seems, but she can always just flip of a switch be in the main event. It's
Kind of
crazy.
like Shinsuke.
Yes. But yeah, so additional predictions for this. We have to predict the first two entrants and the final four. My first two entrants here, uh, in either order, we're not going to hold you tight to number one, number two. I think that Bianca Belair and Io Sky are going to be kind of a constant throughout the entire Rumble. I think they had a phenomenal match on Raw a few months ago. And I think they're going to just start off with a one-on-one match that just really lights up the crowd at the start. And I think they're going to both last quite a while, obviously with EO winning.
Yeah, that'd be a good pair. I think I'm going with Io Sky and Bailey
Ooh,
as the
that
two
would be
that
a
I
good
think
one.
would start it off. I don't know, just
That one
something
feels,
about Bailey makes it
that
seem like she
feels,
could be first or second.
that feels even better. I think Bailey, she just won from like a really early spot. I think it was one, two, or three. So, and they had that WrestleMania match. That makes more sense than Io and Bianca, but we are united with Io.
Yes, I definitely could see Io going or starting very early in the match, probably one or two. But
And then
yeah,
final four, obviously I have Io Sky winning, so Io will be in my final four, along with Charlotte. If she's in it, she's gonna be in that final picture. Liv Morgan as well, just a recent champion. It's going to be, feels obvious to have her there. And then I have Jade Cargill having returned, possibly turning on Bianca, throwing her out, and getting to those final spots there.
yeah, that makes sense because I think Bianca's made it pretty late in like everyone she's been in, isn't it?
I think so.
Um,
She's always been in the final three, I think.
yeah, so yeah, I would go with probably Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan, Io Sky, and then I think Raquel Rodriguez will end up
Oh.
being in that final four, which will make it, I don't know, I think it'll force then Io Sky and Charlotte to work together.
That makes sense. I like that
And
because they'll be like, how are they going to ever take down Liv Morgan and her bodyguard, whatever, Raquel Rodriguez? That's a pretty good pick. You have a lot better story in there than mine do. Mine are just like, who are my favorites? Except Charlotte, of course.
well, I was gonna have a big story relating to the ladder match, but I didn't want to give away something for the men's Royal Rumble.
Oh boy, he's gone crazy. And speaking of the men's Royal Rumble, here's your entrance. There's too many here to even name. Um, you can just look at them. Yeah, so men's rumble. This one, these past few rumbles for the men have just felt so stacked and unpredictable. Because there are so many routes. Even this one more than last year. Last year we thought we knew what WrestleMania was going to be. Right now, I really have no clue what the world title pictures are going to look like.
I have no idea either. There's definitely the chance that yeah, that could just be banger match after banger match after banger match set up for WrestleMania here. And I'm sure we might get the starts of some of those in the Rumble. But yeah, it's made it very difficult to figure out who's going to win because I think there's at least a handful of people that could win and it would make sense and work.
Yeah.
And then there's probably another two or three that could return and win.
Oh, yep.
So it's just a lot of people that have the possibility. I think this one is much harder to kind of determine uh, who's going to win.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, yeah, let's go as the Rumble goes. Who do you think will be the first two entrants in this match?
Yeah. So I was trying to think. I'm like, who could start off the match and go a long time? And I know there's one entrance that people have just loved. And we set up a whole promo around the entrance, pretty much being 20 minutes, and he talks for 30 seconds. And old half star Jey Uso has got to get his entrance in here, so he's got to be one or two, I think.
Yeah.
And then another new entrance that's kind of come to Raw in the last month that I think they could maybe showcase, do a little bit, just a tiny bit more with maybe at the Royal Rumble, and I think would also make for a great person to start off against Jay is Penta. So I could see those two
Ooh.
starting.
Oh, that's a good shout. Panta's had a lot of aura in his few entrances that he's had. Yeah, Jey Uso. I thought of that one. I'm like, they are really gonna want to do that. But I'm like, because I think they had Jay and Jimmy start last year, and I'm like,
Oh,
you do
half
it,
star and
if you,
quarter star.
you almost a whole star with both of them. If you do it 2 years in a row, I'm like, I feel like this is gonna be like Ty Dillinger, perfect 10. Jey Uso is gonna have to enter first or second every single year, and I'm like, are they really gonna lock into that? But I can't imagine them not having that Yeet session. Unless he wins, he could enter anywhere. And if he wins, they're
That's
getting
true.
that
If they're
Yeet.
gonna have him win, then you probably wouldn't do it at the beginning.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
you could, but yeah, then you might be less likely to. I could see that.
Mine is a little different. I thought they would maybe, similar to the women's one, revisit a previous rivalry. And I was between the kind of triple threat of Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, and Andrade. I think you need LA Knight there for the pop that the fans are going to love. And then I would say probably put Carmelo Hayes in there because I think he's going to have a little more of an Iron Man performance than Andrade would. So I am predicting Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with that an old rivalry and try to include one last run for Iron Man John Cena, but uh
That's true.
did not. But yeah, I think that would also be a good group there. I'm kind of surprised neither of us picked Sami Zayn, because that
Yeah,
one also feels like someone that
it
could,
does.
like a Sammy Seth or something. I
Oh,
wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if it was those two.
Yeah, that'd be a good one as well. Sammy really does feel like he should be. Okay, and then move on to who do you think that the final four in the match will be?
This all hinges on. This
Yeah,
just
if A happens, if B happens, return here possibly can change everything.
feel like right off the bat, CM Punk and Roman, I just feel like they have to be there. Those two for sure. Um, and then probably Cena as well if it is his last one. So then that leaves one other spot. So what do we got? Cena, Punk, Roman. Uh, I don't know. Who would be best with those people?
Cena, Punk, and Rowan are also my four.
I really think that's got to be those ones, and then I want to say Randy Orton for some reason. That was kind of the story one that I was going to say. Something with Sami Zayn getting involved in the ladder match, and then Randy coming in. But that would hinge on Randy winning this, the Royal Rumble, and I really have a hard time seeing Randy winning. But if I could get Randy versus Cody at WrestleMania, and then Kevin and Sammy at WrestleMania, and kind of the midway point Elimination Chamber, you've got Randy and Cody versus Sammy and Kevin. That's kind of the picture that I would like to see, but it's probably just fantasy booking, and I don't think that's probably going to happen. There's too much other star power going on for that to happen, I think, unfortunately. But so I'll go with Randy as the fourth.
Yeah, that's one of the question marks. Randy and like I don't know, is he actually injured? I don't think. It's just a
That's
work, I
just it too.
believe.
I don't know. I think he could show up.
Yeah.
I'm just banking on that he could show up, but I don't even know for a fact that he's going
Well,
to be in this. So that's probably a risky pick when I
yeah.
could just pick someone like Jay or Drew or Seth or
Yeah.
Sammy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many because it's like I have those three, the Cena, Roman, Punk, and it's like, well, is it Drew? Is it Seth? Is it Sammy? Is it Jey Uso? Is it a returning Randy Orton who I think, yeah, was just taken out like on screen by Kevin Owens. So I'm like, it's not an actual injury, I don't think. Do we have a returning Rock? I really hope so. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. But I'm like, it just really feels like it's not going to happen. But maybe they're just
It
working us like that, making us feel like it's not going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it really does not feel like The Rock is going to be at the Royal Rumble, or he's not going to be in the match. Is
Yeah.
really what it feels like to me.
But if it starts counting down for number 31, oh boy, it's gonna be
You would think he would make it count down?
oh he would. Nah, he probably wouldn't. Um, I'm gonna put my fourth. So yeah, John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. I think Jey Uso. I think he's gonna make it into that final stretch there. People love him, and I think he's gonna be the guy for the next few years that they're just gonna keep having him almost winning this Rumble until he finally does.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I am unfortunately not for old half star Jey Uso personally, but I know people will get really excited for him, so that would be good for him.
Yeah. And
Although it's
then
something about that feels weird too, because then you got Roman and Jay there, and CM Punk and John Cena, and
that's
at
a
CM Punk
lot of
and Cena have history, but I don't know that they would feel like they would team up against Roman and Jay.
yeah. It's interesting pairings, but like they're all baby faces, and it is really weird. It feels like you do need like a Drew McIntyre in there to get some heat and really attack some of these baby faces. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I think
uh,
we're just picking the safe picks. I don't
I
know
think
that
so.
all three of Cena, Punk, and Roman are going to make it to the final four,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to pick which one doesn't. But
And then
yeah, so who do you have winning, Pepper?
I feel like I feel the same way for all of them. I feel they should lose the Rumble and then go on and find another way to Mania. I feel that way with John Cena. I think he's gonna have heartbreaking loss here, but still maybe get a championship match. I feel like CM Punk is probably one who has to get that main event at WrestleMania, but I'm like, is it too easy to have him win here? And I'm like, well, that's both the titles. So one of them has to win it. So I'm going with CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble. I don't think he's done it before, and he hasn't main evented WrestleMania, so give it to him here. But I don't know what that does with the Paul Heyman favor. I don't know how much he would need that if he just wins his way there. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, obviously, but it's the safest pick I can think of.
Yeah, that's probably the pick I like most as well because I don't know what Roman I don't see know what I see Roman doing at WrestleMania, but I don't know that he's going to be in a title feud. Uh, so I don't know that I could pick him. And part of me wants to pick John Cena. He hasn't been here since night one Netflix or whatever, and I'm just like, there's nothing that indicates that he should win this. And even based on his last talk of, oh, I haven't won in thousands of days, haven't won a match. Okay, and then he comes in and wins this. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it just makes that whole speech about that just so dumb and pointless. Even more pointless than it sounded when he was saying it. But yeah, I don't know. It does feel like the John Cena thing to do is do that and then go on and win the Royal Rumble. But I thought and obviously it doesn't mean that he has to, but he said how, oh, it'll be my last Royal Rumble, last Elimination Chamber. Maybe he didn't mean the Elimination Chamber match. Maybe he just meant that he was gonna be at the pay-per-view fighting someone. But I don't know
I
who.
feel like he's gonna want to run all the bases in this. So
Yeah, I don't know that he would. I don't even know who he would fight at Wrestle or at uh, Elimination Chamber if he did win this. I have no idea who he'd be in a feud with. But I don't want to pick the same as you. I was thinking Punk myself, but and that makes me want to pick John Cena, but or pick someone else, but then it's probably not anyone
go
in
in
my
on,
final four.
you go in on The Rock. Do you go all in on that? Or maybe Kevin. Kevin loses, enters into the Rumble and wins it. It's happened before.
He could. Uh, I'll I'll go with Cena, even though I personally don't think that's probably the best
Oh,
pick. I'll go with Cena.
the advantage of going first for me. Yes. And then the final bit of prediction here. It's not really predictions, it's just picking.
Spoilers.
Yes, they are spoilers. So we pick one number each from each set of 10. So 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30. And we will get that entrant as on our team for each of the men's and women's Royal Rumble. So you can lead us off with your pick for the number 1 through number 10 entrants. What spot do you want to draft?
Ooh, you're letting me pick this first.
Yes.
Oh boy. Um, I should really pick number one or number two. They really seem to have recently enjoyed having people run the gauntlet, uh, which I don't know. Sometimes seems a little unbelievable to me,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna go with eight. I am gonna go with eight. Give myself a good chance.
Oh boy. He almost picked the number that I had written down. I am going to go with a 9.
We're trying to pick the latest entries possible. Give ourselves a chance.
Yes. And in the middle, for 11 through 20, I think Cody Rhodes won it from 15 last year, so they are willing to go right in the middle of the pack. So I'm going with 16 this year.
Hmm. That's a good pick. That is a good pick. Um, but I think I am gonna go with number 11. Lucky number 11. 1-1.
So he's going to have those pretty back, almost back to back. His number 8 and 11. So he's going to know very quickly if he messed up severely.
Oh, I'm sure I did. I always get the bad numbers.
But if they're bad in one Rumble, so if they're bad numbers in the women's Rumble, maybe in the men's Rumble, they will come back around and save you. And then you can lead us off with the final 10 here. What is your pick?
Yeah,
Possibly the most important batch of the bunch.
yeah, these ones are always so tough because it's like, well, sometimes they'll just wait till number 30 to bring out some grand star. Although I feel like they haven't done that quite as much recently. So they're about due for that. So I think I will go. I will go with 30. So I've got 8, 11, and 30.
And 30. Ooh, I was considering 30 just for that out of nowhere pick. And sometimes even if they pre-announce them, Cody Rhodes' other win, they end up coming in 30 and winning. So you never know. I'm going to go with, I forget if this is the best number. Is it 27? Is that the best number, or at least it was for a while?
I think it was for a while, and then I think 30 might have tied it and might now be ahead.
It
And I
might.
think like one or two probably also uh,
Funny how that
might have
works.
tied it up.
It's 1 and
Yeah.
2 equal with 30.
And 27.
and
It
27.
is funny because once they started doing it, seemed like those number things, like, oh, it's all about the numbers and stuff, and like every time they were like, oh, 27, 27. Ever since when they started doing that and saying 27 was the lucky number, I don't think it's one since they've said that. And then I think eventually got to 30, and then they said like, oh, the number one is just as good as the number 30 because they got the same amount.
It's
It's
just good.
like,
No, it is not. It's way more work.
ooh, I saw Pat McAfee on there, and that is one of my predictions of someone who is going to appear in the Rumble.
Ooh, you think Pat
Although
McAfee?
I hope that they do something better than they did last year. That was pathetic.
They better. Yeah, a
I
few
like
years
Pat
ago,
too much to
Cody.
have them do him like that again.
Yes. So yeah, I thought there was something weird. A couple of years ago, Cody wins at 30, Rhea Ripley wins at 1. That tells you everything you need to know. Oh, so a random celebrity possibly in the Rumble. They have, what is it? I Show Speed. They have him, kind of documenting it backstage, streaming. I feel like he might sneak a spot into the Rumble since he is apparently a huge thing, a little bit more popular online than us, just a little bit. So I guess yeah, if you're predicting Pat McAfee, I will predict I Show Speed.
So if Pat McAfee is in there, do you think we get Corey Graves?
Ooh.
The feud
If they
of
are,
being
oh,
replaced on the announce table.
I hope so. I hope that that is the angle and it leads to a WrestleMania, maybe not main event, but match,
Not the main event of night two.
a announce table match, where you had to put your opponent through, I guess, the very reinforced looking
I was gonna say maybe
announce
they should
tables.
change up the tables before we have that match because yeah, that does not seem to have any give.
I don't think
Uh,
either of them are really like powerhouses to slam each other through it, but they'll find a way.
they will. But yeah, that's all of our predictions for this. Let us know your predictions below. We may do a reaction to this a couple days after the Rumble happens, so you can subscribe to hear that if we do it.
Yeah,
Depends how exciting it is. Maybe it'll be horrible and boring, and we wouldn't want to talk
terrible.
about that. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on that popcorn.